So here's another pastor dude refuting the flat earth with the Bible.
So it says they went up on the breadth of the earth. The breadth is measure or distance from side to side of a surface, width, extent, or across. Let me read you the other couple of verses here, and then we'll comment on Revelation 20 and verse 9. Keep your finger in Revelation 20, but go to Job 38 and verse 18. Job 38 and verse 18. The Lord here says to Job, "Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare, if thou knowest it all." So the Lord is issuing a challenge to Job. Do you know what the breadth of the earth is? Do you know how wide this earth is, Job? And Job 11 and verse 9. Job 11 and verse 9. This is the verse after the verses that we just read there. We just read a couple of minutes ago. It talks about the height of the heaven. Verse 9, "The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea." So it gives a length of the earth. And the flat earthers then will use these verses to talk about the length of the earth, the breadth of the earth, to say that, see, the earth is flat because you don't have length on a ball or on a globe is what they'll say. So that's the argument. And so to say that the earth has breadth means that the earth obviously is a flat plane. That's what their argument is. They say that there's no length and width on a sphere, which is sort of, kind of true. There is not, by definition, length and width on a sphere like there would be on a flat object, sort of, but there actually is length and width on a sphere, if you think about it. If you just look at a ball and you measure the width of the ball, what would you do? You'd take a tape measure and you measure across the diameter of the ball, right? That's the width of the ball. What's the height of the ball? Well, because it's a ball, it happens to be the same as the height as the width, right? Measure the height. The height of the ball, it's always the same, right? Diameter of the ball. So the ball, if the earth is a ball, it has width to it. And if you could look at it from outer space far enough away and you could see the ball, you could pull out your tape measure and you could see what the width of the earth is. So there's really this is not a big deal. I don't even know why they even use this verse, to be honest with you. Now in Revelation 29, the verse...
So I don't know about you, but I find it really interesting to point to those verses and to make the arguments that he does. Because if we stop for a second and just remember that God is, of course, speaking rhetorically in all those instances in Job, and that, of course, the implied answer to all of those questions that he asks should be an obvious no. No, man cannot. Man was not there. Man does not know. Man cannot see. Man cannot do any of the things that God asks. Because, like the pastor guy says, God is issuing a challenge. He's issuing a challenge to Job and to Job's companions who are in the long discussion with him, and to everyone, to all of humanity. It is a challenge to the presumptiveness and the hubris of man. So if that's understood, if we realize that that's basically the whole theme of everything that God says in Job, then how does that really work if then, like the pastor guy says, see, now we can go into space and we can measure the breadth of the earth? Because, wait, I thought the whole basis of God's challenge in that instance was that he's pointing to things that we could obviously never do. And that doesn't even just apply to our modern day with the belief in our ability to go into space with probes and a spacecraft and all these things, put satellites up into orbit and all that. But even back in ancient times, people who believe in a globe constantly point to Eratosthenes and the fact that he was able to calculate the diameter and circumference of the Earth with remarkable accuracy, even calculate the distance to the sun with remarkable accuracy, quote unquote. And so regardless of whether Eratosthenes lived slightly later than whenever the book of Job was written, or when that conversation occurred, we don't really have a date for it, but we know it is very, very old. If you believe in the globe and you believe in these claims that Eratosthenes was able to make that calculation, then at the time God was asking Job, even in ancient times, the answer would have been, all you need is 2 sticks and a friend in another location to figure out what the breadth of the earth is. So how does that not undercut the whole point of that entire verse? Is God a liar? Is God making challenges that he can't back up? Is God just a little confused? Did God just underestimate mankind and how smart we'd become? Did he just assume we wouldn't be able to figure it out? Got a little ahead of himself? Is God just talking smack? We showed him. Did the pagan Greeks actually figure out what, the God-fearing Job obviously couldn't? What all the patriarchs and the authors of the Bible were unable to figure out with a couple of sticks and a friend in another city? Do you not see the disconnect? Do you not see that what we are trying to do is, on the one hand, hold on to this idea that, yes, as humanity, we have done all those things. We have answered all those questions that God challenges us with back in Job and the rest of the Bible. We are able to measure these things. We're able to ascend. We're able to conquer. We're able to figure it all out, put it into an equation, explore it all with probes and spaceships and quantum theory. We're trying to affirm the Bible, which clearly shows God laughing at the idea that man would think he could do all these things or know so many things about the created world, about the cosmos. Trying to affirm a belief in that, but then also trying to affirm a belief in mankind's technology-based humanistic hubris. You can't have both. You can't defend both. It's one or the other.